Welcome back to my channel. My name is Karolina and we're going to talk a little bit today about modesty and why actually modesty is so important when it comes to feminine look and when it comes to elegance overall.
Okay, so let's just start with saying that modesty is not about dressing in an unattractive way. It's absolutely not about that. Modesty is about being self-respectful, being conscious about your body, not showing too much, obviously, but also doing this for yourself, thinking about other people a little bit. So it's about setting some kind of boundaries when it comes to your outfit, also showing with the way how you dress that there is more to you than only your body, that only showing your skin, that you are, modesty is actually very feminine, it's very soft and gentle way of dressing up. And not only dressing, because modesty, it also comes to your character, and we're going to talk about this today, but we're going to obviously focus as well on how to dress up, because you don't really need to be covered all to be considered to be modest. Obviously, if your religion require from you to be a little bit more covered, then that's fine, you know. It's all about obviously different cultures and how we going to apply modesty in our life. It might be slightly different for some people who live in a different part of the world, some people who live in Europe, for example. So where I am coming from, I am obviously Eastern European, and in our culture modesty is not so strict, like let's say someone who is living in some kind of Arabic country, which is, you know, it's absolutely normal. Some ladies, they cover their hair because that's also type of the modesty, and they want to protect themselves as well and being more self-respectful in their culture, which I completely understand. But in my culture, for example, we don't do that, but there are other ways to show modesty, and I want to really talk a little bit like overall and generalize a little bit how to dress a little bit more modest, a little bit more feminine, because it can really improve our life. So as I said, one of the reasons why women would like to dress modesty is for self-respect, and it's not to bringing too much attention to her body. We all know that there are people in this world that they can take advantage of you because you dress too sexy. And I don't want to say that we have this kind of saying sometimes, like people who very have this kind of thinking in the box that, oh, the girl, she's wearing too sexy and she's asking herself for that something is going to do, or someone is going to do something to her. And obviously I am not believing in something like this. I believe that there is a freedom, we can do whatever we like, but we obviously need to choose for ourselves whatever suits our standards, whatever suits our personalities, how we feel comfortable with dressing up. But unfortunately, in this world, there are evil people, and let's not, you know, and there are evil people that they can take advantage of you because you will dress too sexy. And it is evil, and if there would be some kind of power that we could select those people and do something with them, then, you know, would be great. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. I feel like for that reason, we should be a little bit more conscious, self-conscious, what we wear, what kind of pictures we wear, what kind of pictures we put out there, what kind of pictures we put on Instagram, on Facebook, because unfortunately, it's very easy for other people to access our pictures. Even if we do private accounts, someone can just like us, be our friend, pretend our friend, and that's it. They have access to our pictures. So it is quite easy way for other people to access our private life, our private pictures. And I feel like, as I'm saying, there are people in this world who are created in this way that they are just trying to take advantage of others. And for that reason, I feel the modesty is very, very important, and having this kind of control of our, like, I want to control my body. I don't want anyone else to have anything say to my body. In another way, for example, some people might post a lot of pictures of them being in bikini, and I don't take this as an offense. I feel like they have a beautiful body, they can do whatever they like, you know. But there are people who might download those pictures. Who knows what they're going to do with them? And I wouldn't feel comfortable when it comes, if those would be my pictures, if someone would do who knows what with them. You know, it's just, obviously you need to set the boundaries. What is right for you? What can you what can you live with? You know, if there are some things that you feel like, no, I don't want other people to have access to that, and I don't want other people to take those pictures and do who knows what with them, then obviously you should include and introduce in your life a little bit more modesty. But I just want to say that I completely understand this kind of as well, like a movement that women, they want to feel free, they want to post whatever they like because they have this kind of freedom. 200 years ago they didn't have this kind of freedom, and they want to enjoy this freedom now. They want to do whatever they feel in their soul that they want to do, you know. And I understand that, I honestly understand that. I feel like that's something so beautiful we have a right to just now in this world, where years ago we didn't have so much like such a freedom. But as I'm saying, this is just only about how you feel about those things. I personally think that less is more in this situation. So showing less of your maybe life, like your body, I think is in this situation, I think it's just more. You can achieve more, and you can focus on other things, you know, like you're not getting bothered, you're not going to stress that someone is going to see I don't know, your bra, or your I don't know, you are wearing something too squeezing you, that people are just looking at you and have this kind of maybe sexual, some kind of attachment, or they feeling like men, they feeling they want to do something to you. I wouldn't personally feel comfortable with something like this, but there might be a woman who will be walking like this and she doesn't, you know, care. And fine, you know, it's fine if she feel this way. I wouldn't feel comfortable like this, but I also feel that I wouldn't like to bring this kind of attention, because as I'm saying, there are people in this world who are evil, just evil, and who knows what they can have in their head, and they can follow you and do whatever, you know, this is just reality, you know. Yeah, I'm not saying there's only one place that there are evil people. They are everywhere in the world. There are good people and there are bad people, you know, and that's how it is. And I feel like talking about modesty, it might be actually a good beginning to as well being a little bit more conscious what's happening around us, that we need to protect ourselves in the way of not like giving people chance to, you know, disturb us in any way. But after said that, I just wanted to, you know, just want to go a little bit more deeper about modesty, because I feel like we should really introduce modesty more in our life. And I feel like elegance as well is about not showing too much. Even if you go for a little bit more sexy style, it's not about showing too much of your skin itself. It's just maybe putting accent on the right places of your body. But you can still cover yourself a little bit more by doing that, you know, and still looking a little bit more sexy and elegant, but rather than just look vulgar and, I don't know, some kind of tacky look. You also need to, ladies, remember that people are going to treat you different way. You're going to dress more modest, you're going to dress more elegant than if you're going to dress more like showy. You're going to dress to show more of your body. People just, that's how it is, you know? That's how the world really works. We the way we dressing, we sending to the world signal as well what we like, what we have in our head. That's just how it is. That's how people as well, how when they look at us, what kind of values they might see, you know. If I would see a girl who obviously is, I don't know, wearing a hijab, and she is dressing very modest, and obviously I can assume that her values, and that's what I'm going to probably do. I'm going to assume that she's very respectful. She is, she doesn't want to maybe bring too much attention to her. She is dressing feminine, but also she doesn't want to, you know, give the wrong impression of. And she's also religious, you know. Those things, obviously, you're going to notice. You're going to think about those, like maybe even stereotypes. But when you're going to see a girl that she's wearing very short skirt and she's going to show her tummy, she's going to have squeezed boobs very like high, then again you're going to have some kind of stereotype of this person as well. And I'm not saying it's going to be right, because this girl might be super smart as well, but she just dressed like this once in her life or something. But that's how it is, you know. We look at someone and we already started creating to have some kind of idea about them, even without having a conversation with them. When it comes to modesty, I think what is really great as well is that you need to think that maybe there are other young ladies in your family who are actually looking for some kind of like a role model, and you, by dressing modest, you're going to set example that you can still achieve a lot of different things, and you don't necessarily need to show your body off. You don't necessarily need to like include everyone in the world into your private life. I feel like that's quite important when it comes to when we know that there are ladies who are observing us, that setting some kind of example and setting as well boundaries, it is quite important, and they can take that from you, that an achievement is not actually to show everything off, it's just working hard for the goals you have, but also being humble about them, you know, being humble of who you are, and not trying to bring all the attention of the world to yourself by, I don't know, showing too much. Another thing that is really great about modesty is that modest clothing and modest dress code, basically, it doesn't take from your natural look, and it doesn't take from your personality. So that means that people are going to focus more about you, and they're going to be more interested in you rather than just looking at your clothes and paying attention to those more, you know. The clothes are going to be your background, and you are going to be basically you're going to be just in the center of attention. It's going to be you rather than your clothes. Modest fashion put more emphasis on your comfort, and it's not going to be focusing attention on the design clothes you're wearing. It's going to be, all the attention is going to be focused on you. Another thing is that when it comes to modesty and as well to elegance, that those never come out of the style. Modesty is something that there are always going to be people who are going to feel more comfortable to wear modest fashion. They're going to feel more free to do it, and they're not going to feel like they need to follow the trends all the time, because, as I'm saying, you can buy something very modest, you can buy something very elegant, and you're going to have those for all your life, and it's still going to be something that you can wear through the period of your years, through the years and decades, basically. So modesty, it never comes out of fashion, which is quite important, because that as well saves you money in some way. Modesty doesn't need to be boring. People who actually prefer to dress simple way can still have beautiful attire. They can still look very chic. It's just about putting a little bit more effort to the details, I believe. So it's basically focusing on the details, like choosing the more interesting fabrics, choosing the materials that are comfortable. Obviously, they are maybe for some simple, but because you're not going to maybe scream like they are the most fashionista, but you can still choose really, really beautiful fabric. And I think that's quite important here, that modesty still can be absolutely stunning. It's just a little bit more refined, I would say. So when it comes to those details, I think it's important to notice what kind of designs they are, maybe on the dress, on a blouse. It's important to see what kind of texture of material has piece of the garment. There are those kind of little details that are going to completely change a very simple and boring outfit to something very, very sophisticated. Like over here, you have this kind of beautiful dress that from maybe far away, it just looks as a white plain dress. But when you actually come closer to that person, then you see how much detail is to this dress, how much this kind of beautiful, maybe some kind of flowers, little circles. This is something really, really stunning, really gorgeous. And it is, I would say, more modest piece of the garment rather than something that is showy very much. if you know what I mean. So I don't feel like you need to really cover yourself up like full to be very modest. No, I think it is very important to have this kind of balance. Sometimes you might go for a little bit more shorter dress. I'm not saying very short. Shorter for me, it's going to be like a knee length. That's for me a shorter dress. And then you're just going to have a top, or like the top of the dress. It's just going to be a little bit more built up. So it's going to have a sleeve. It's not going to have maybe very, very deep V, because that's not going to be modest. So it is all about finding this kind of sweet spot for yourself, and it's basically not showing your boobs too much. It's not showing to legs too much, because that's not going to be modest. If you want to have this kind of little bit more modest touch to yourself, then you need to keep the balance right. I feel like as a woman, you're going to really notice the difference, how people are going to treat you, and how people are going to, what kind of perception they're going to have about you when you start dressing modesty. And it can be a situation that you're going to have a beautiful long dress, and then you're just going to have a little bit uncovered here. So that's what I'm saying, balance. You know, if you're going for something longer, you can show a little bit more your arms, you can show more this kind of area basically. But when you're going for something shorter, then just try to cover this part of the body a little bit more. And I think that's what it's all about. This is very like an elegant way of dressing up. You don't want to show everything to the world. You're trying to have this kind of respectful way of dressing. Your clothes are going to say that you respect yourself. And I think in this word, it's actually this two words, self, or like one word, self-respect, is very, very important. And people stopped really using it, and they don't really have this as a value anymore. And I think that's really sad, because we all need to self-respect and self-love ourselves first. Because when we have this kind of a really good feeling to ourselves, we don't really feel like something is missing in our life, maybe that we are not happy with ourselves at some kind of part of our body, then when the love comes to ourselves first, then we can love other things and other people even more, you know. So I just feel like this kind of self-respect and self-love should reflect how we dress, and modesty should be a key here. Modesty is always going to be very elegant. Obviously, I was reading a lot of blogs as well before I started doing this video, and what it's a little bit like, you know, I am a Catholic, and I don't consider myself to be very like strict or orthodox. I'm just like free soul who believe in God, but I don't necessarily go to church, because I don't really believe as an institution of church myself. Maybe because I'm from Poland, you know, and we had lots of problems with church, and I don't even want to go there. So I believe in God myself, and I feel like everyone should have a right to believe in whatever they really feel. And I'm like not bothered, you know, if you're believing that there is some energy and that makes you happy, that makes you some kind of, you know, peace in yourself, then fine, you know, I'm fine with that. I don't really feel like I need to change someone. No, that's not my place in this world. My place is to follow my heart, to be happy with who I am, and I can only share with you what I feel like it can help you, you know. But I don't necessarily feel like my religion is going to change your life. I don't feel like this. I feel like everybody should have the right to decide, you know. That's what I believe personally, and that makes me happy when people can decide whatever they like, you know. Some people are not, they were not like blessed enough, let's put it this way, to have any religion. Like my partner, for example, he doesn't believe in anything, you know, and I sometimes find it sad, because, you know, for him life is very like strict, and for him life is very realistic, where I believe there is another life after this life, you know, and it's going to be better, you know. So it's just obviously if you're a good person. So obviously don't want to go here about religion. I'm just saying that when I started reading a lot of blogs about modesty, it's very like connected to the religion as well, because obviously when someone is very religious, then obviously the modesty is going to show a little bit more, and I think that's actually natural. I was reading a lot of blogs. I read some blogs from like Muslim girls who were talking about modesty, which I really liked. I read some girls who were like Christian, but there is always this kind of like you know, there's this kind of always feeling that religion is coming over there, you know, and I don't really want to feel, I don't want to like, I don't know how you feel obviously, because everybody feels different, but I feel like when it comes to fashion, I don't really want to feel about religion at this stage, you know. I understand that there are religions that they are dressing modesty, that most of the time people who are a little bit more strict when it comes to religion, they will dress more modesty, which is, I think, fine and beautiful in some way. But when it comes to people who are not so religious, they drop this kind of modesty style, you know, and that's quite interesting here, because obviously I think religion puts some kind of like an effort, and there is someone in any church really that it's going to push that modesty is important for women. But when you don't have any kind of like a let's call it community, then obviously nobody is pushing you to be modest, you know. And that's quite like, I find it quite interesting that a lot of blogs what I was reading were very religious, from different type of religions, but there's not much talk about modesty for people who are not really religious, who just you know, want to live their life without going in deep into any religion, you know. And I feel like just want to talk about this as well, because I don't want to talk here about putting like pressing people that, oh, God said to us we need to be now modest, because no, I feel like we should find this in ourselves, that this kind of self-respect and self-love should reflect on our dressing code, let's say. And it doesn't matter what kind of religion you have. If you don't have a religion, it is still up to you to create this kind of style that you feel comfortable, but also respected. And as I'm saying, really creating this kind of modest style, it's going to improve your life. And as a, let's say, young lady, if there is a young woman who is going out with the world, and let's say she's trying to find a husband, she's trying to date someone, and there's this kind of, I had the same, you know, I didn't have really anyone to tell me everything, and I was a little bit lost in my very like early, let's say late teens, early 20s. And you had this kind of feeling that you want to find a boyfriend, you want to start something serious, and girls just like drop their boundaries, you know. We would do anything to have a relationship, and that's how it is, you know. Unfortunately, I don't know how it's in your culture. I hope it's better. But there's this kind of culture that women need to like sacrifice almost everything to have to find a guy, you know. And I feel like that's so bad from the perspective of time. Me being getting older, because I'm just 30 now. I just turned 30. Then I feel like we should educate young ladies more that you are a prize yourself, and you shouldn't chase any man. You shouldn't really drop your boundaries. You shouldn't drop your standards for anyone. Even if there is a guy who look like God, he is like I don't know, a model, he had an amazing, you know, job, he's really good for you. There's never perfect, just let's put this way first. There might be something deeper inside this person. But there's kind of feeling that women always need to like chase the guy, you know, and we need to fight with other girls for this one guy, you know, and it's like so not true. Like there's so much fishes in the sea, and there's always, if you're going to like respect yourself and let's say dress modest way, you're going to attract much better men for yourself rather than attract everyone who just like want to look at your body. So this is another thing. It's important to talk about this, to like even educate ourselves here, because I know younger ladies watching this program as well, this YouTube channel, which I'm really grateful for you. But I just feel like I didn't have this, like nobody told me that, you know, and I was like at a moment in my life I was chasing guys, and I was not happy, and I didn't know what to do, and it was so wrong, you know. And I'm so like, I don't want that, for example, for my children. If I'm going to have a daughters, I'm going to like explain everything to them. If my son going to have a daughter and me as a grandmother, then I'm going to talk to them as well. I just feel like it's, I think, very important for other women to support other women and say that like openly. You are not here to please everyone. You're not here to chase some kind of guy. You are here for yourself, for creating life of your dream, and the right man, the right person, maybe a woman, the right person is going to appear in your life. They are just appearing. That's how it most of the time is. Like, you're chasing the guys, chasing, and you're like, oh, I'm done, and I want to have freedom. And then you find the right person. That's normally how it is. It's not that you are going to text the guy all the time, you're going to see and check your phone all the time, is he replying me? No, ladies, it's not about that. It's about having your own life, having your own things in your life that makes you happy, and the right person will come. Even if you're going to be a little bit more like strict, you're not going to date everyone, you're not going to reply to every guy. I think that's going to even set higher standard for you than because, as I'm saying, if the guy, even if you like him, but he's not right for you, he's not going to chase you, then you don't need this kind of person, you know, you're going to find better. And that's how it is. We need to, as a young woman, understand that they should chase you, not you should chase them. And I just feel like that's so important, because no one ever told me that, you know, like my mom somehow didn't say that to me. Maybe it was different time when women were acting different, but I just feel it's important to say that. And when it comes to modesty, not only about your fashion, but modesty like itself, like inside you, then this is about setting your boundaries, and it is about not allowing everyone, and don't kind of feeling that someone out there in the world have some kind of right to you, because they don't. Honestly, they don't. Even if they want you to show something, they will be maybe texting you, because, as I'm saying, there are weird people in this world, there are evil people in this world. We need to be careful and conscious. You are the person who decides what you want to show. You are the person what kind of values you have. And if the guy out there, even if he's really like focused and he wants to date you and other things, just say no. And you have a completely right to say, if you don't like him, just say no. Listen, I appreciate the time we maybe spent together and we talk, but after this conversation, I just know you are not for me, and that's it. And even if he is going to push more, you can just block him, you know. In this kind of era of internet, we can just block people if you feel like something is going wrong direction. So I just wanted to say that young women shouldn't feel like they need to pursue men, and that's how this shouldn't be like that, you know. So this is also about modesty. You can obviously dress modest way, but you need to have some kind of modesty inside you and setting yourself a boundaries. And even when you are a young woman, it's going to be much better for you to set the boundaries earlier rather than later on. Okay, ladies, I hope you enjoyed this video. I feel it's important to talk about this. You see how I'm passionate about that. I just feel like educating ourselves as a woman, it's like so much easier nowadays, you know. You can just find someone on YouTube who talk about those stuff, you know, like honestly, it blows my mind, but it's really good, you know. This is really good part of the internet. I think that you can reach people who think the same way. You can reach people to educate yourself, and that's just something really beautiful, and you can do it basically for free. I hope you ladies enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up, and see you in the next one.